Alright, so today's video is going to be kind of long, and I ended up doing a longer video because it's also more or less a how-to on how to install this thing. But this is the last accessory I've been waiting to update the car with. It's the GROM Audio VL2 integrated solution for like CarPlay and Android Auto. All things that I wish that the car would have and probably should have came with for the price point. So I'm going to go over the problems that I ran into installing it, the things that work, the things that don't work, but I ended up going with this unit over another one that's out right now, NavTool, because this one actually has wireless CarPlay. At the time of filming this video, the NavTool does not. So what I wanted to do with the car was be able to have the phone either in my pocket or throw it in the center console and basically have the phone charging on a wireless charging pad in there from the USB to wireless CarPlay. It's something that I use a lot in all my other cars, and it's the one thing that was missing on this car that I really wanted to have to complete it. So I actually purchased this well before I even got the car. There were a lot of shipping delays. GROM ended up moving from California to Texas right at the time that I bought this, so it took a lot longer to get here than I wanted it to, but it did come. The install is relatively straightforward. Removing the panels are relatively straightforward, and you'll see in the video the things that I ran into that helped, that didn't help. The cool thing is the only tools that you really need to install this thing are Phillips screwdriver, size 8 socket, and pry tools for the most part. All right, so here we are unboxing the unit. You get some directions, installation manual, going over the cables. There's 3 proprietary ones. You have a microphone. This is the power unit that actually integrates with the OEM system in the back. And that's another one of the OEM or the proprietary cords. There is a GPS antenna, and then that is a USB extension. Here we're unboxing and opening up the actual unit. It's relatively small. It has a pretty cool antenna on the back there for some of the wireless capabilities. It's metal. It feels really good quality and solid. So first thing here, you got to pop out the ventilated seat and heated seat cover. There's 3 clips up at the top. Go ahead and slide your pry tool in between that and the center here, and it'll pop right out. It's pretty simple. Step 1. Step 2 is the lower dash panel that houses the scroll wheel is going to come out next. Again, these are all clips. You're basically going to slide your hand underneath and pull straight towards you. They'll all come out. Undo the connectors behind, and then you're going to move on to the driver's side air vent. I found the easiest way to pop these things out is to pull at the very bottom right corner, and then just give it a nice firm jerk towards you. Out it comes. There's 3 clips here. On the back there is an electrical connector, so go ahead and unplug that. There it is. Next is the passenger side. This one's certainly a lot bigger, but because it's bigger, it's a lot more sturdy to be able to yank on and pull, so that's good. And next is taking out the actual navigation screen or the radio screen up top. There's 2 screws and then 2 8mm bolts underneath. And start out here by unscrewing the 2 screws. There's 1 and 2. And then underneath it's really hard to see, but you can get a socket up behind the unit, and you can see slightly right there where that 8mm bolt is. So take out 2 of those on each side, undo the HVAC control connector here, and then you're basically home free. So once that one's out, you're going to want to lift the whole unit up towards you to get it out of this little hole right there and pull it towards you a little bit, and then the clips will unhinge at the top and you're done. So I finished off with routing the GPS antenna up through the windshield here. Also the microphone is up there as well. All right, so I'm going to show you how the GROM unit is working. The wireless CarPlay is that instant when you start the car up, as long as you have it on the iPod for a source It works just like normal Acuras do. As you can see, use the scroll wheel to get around. So that's pretty typical. One thing that I found out was the wireless CarPlay connects to the unit via Wi-Fi as well as Bluetooth. So when you're connected to the unit via Wi-Fi, your data doesn't work because the unit's not supplying data to the phone, right? So there is a way around it. You have to go into the Wi-Fi itself, click the little I symbol, and then change the IP address from whatever it currently is in there. And I'll put mine on there. I think all the GROM units are the same, to a static IP address. And then once you do that, then you have, the phone will use your cellular signal for data, even though it's connected to a Wi-Fi network. So other than that, really responsive, really quick. Again, the downside to this right now is the cameras do not work. So when you have the unit activated, the cameras will not work. I talked to GROM. They have to find an RLX in order to test some of the software sequencing, but they said that when they do get it correct, which should be a few weeks, and I'll update the video then, that it's going to be an over-the-air update to allow you to use the cameras. Now, the way around it is if you change the source from iPod to, say, FM radio, everything comes back as it should, and then you can use the cameras again. So that's the way around it. Obviously, it's a workaround for right now, but for the most part, the GROM unit is integrated pretty well. So I think that my install went pretty cleanly. I ended up mounting the GROM unit inside the glove box, and I mounted it on the tray right here. I did that for a couple reasons. One, it's kind of up out of the way, so you can still use down here. But two, when you unhook all of the connectors here, and on this side, then the unit is just screwed to the plate, and you can easily take the plate or the tray out when you want to change the air filter, or if you need to get more space in here and take out the unit for whatever reason. So that way it's really handy and it's not screwed into the actual glove box. And I've seen some people screw it into that. To me, it doesn't make sense because it blocks a lot of functions like the air filter cleaning. I also went and integrated the USBs into the passenger side over here. And as you can see, the GROM unit has two USBs. One is for data like CarPlay or Android Auto. The other one is just a USB to charge. So I bought an adapter that had two USBs on it as well. So that's why I have two sitting here. It's on the passenger side, and as you know, we're limited with USBs for the RLX. So the fact that there's two there, super handy for a passenger, and if I need to reach around and plug one in for myself, I will. It's pretty hidden, pretty out of the way. I did find out that this panel is around $65 if you want to get a replacement, if you end up putting yours there. This is really the only place that it will fit. When you take this panel off, there are different mechanics and parts of the vehicle all throughout here, but this area is relatively open. So you just run the wiring through there, up, and then into the back of the glove box. So installing the GROM unit though, it does take away the USB that's in the center console. The accessory outlet, the cigarette outlet, does still work. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take all this apart and I'm going to splice power and ground from the accessory terminal over to the USB so that I can still use the USB inside the armrest for power. I have a wireless charger that I got off Amazon in there. So typically I will open this up, set the phone right there on the wireless charging pad, close it, wireless CarPlay's working, and done. But I need to get that figured out first. So I will update after that.